Hi all. Sharing all of this publicly is a new experience for me, but I believe it is important for my well-being both mentally and physically. Around 4 months ago, I began to notice a change in my wife's behavior. We've been married for 8 years and have 3 young children together, but she became increasingly distant and cold towards me. Despite this, we still had sex on occasion, but her treatment of me lacked any affection or kindness. Not long after, Jordan started coming home later than usual from her job. She usually finishes work around midnight because she has a second shift at a nearby hospital. I am normally asleep by then, but on one particular night I happened to be awake and noticed that she didn't come home until 1 a.m. When I asked why she was late, she simply replied that work was hectic. I remembered that I could track her location on my iPhone, so I checked the next evening. Everything seemed normal enough at first. She left work at her usual time and started heading home. But then, halfway there, she made a detour to an unfamiliar apartment. My mind couldn't process the thought of her cheating, so I convinced myself there had to be a logical explanation for this. Jordan likes to smoke weed, so maybe she was just meeting up with a new dealer. When I confronted her about it, she stuck to her story of working late once again. The following evening, I checked her location on my phone and saw that she had gone to the apartment again. When she returned home, she seemed irritated that I was still awake. I asked her why she was so late, and she gave me the excuse that work had been crazy again. I then questioned when she had started working at the apartment, causing her to fall silent for a few moments before confessing that she had made a new friend at work and went to visit her. When I pressed her about why she felt the need to lie, she claimed it was because I wouldn't approve of this friend. But I wasn't buying her explanation. Jordan said that I was overreacting and making a big deal out of nothing. Her words did little to repair the damage to my trust in her, however. For the following week, she avoided stopping by the apartment in question. I decided to sleep on the couch and only communicated with her when absolutely necessary, mainly regarding our shared responsibilities for our 3 young sons. On the following Monday, she requested that I make arrangements to spend time with our sons so she could go out to dinner with our mutual friend, Isabella. I agreed. However, as soon as she left, I noticed that the location sharing stopped and I was unable to see where she was. Strangely enough, it began working again as soon as she returned home. Puzzled and slightly worried, I decided to reach out to Isabella for some clarification. It wasn't until the day before Thanksgiving that Isabella finally responded to my message. My wife's mother and brother were visiting for the holiday, so I snuck away to read her text in another room. The moment I saw it, my world shattered. Isabella said my wife was never with her on that day. I requested a private conversation with Jordan and gave her the opportunity to be honest. She insisted that I was being paranoid and that she was exactly where she said she would be. I showed her the text from Isabella, but she still denied any infidelity. I love you. I haven't slept with anyone, and I would never betray our relationship by being with someone else. How could you suggest something like that, she said. Despite her reassurances, I couldn't shake the feeling that something wasn't right between us. I told her to show me her phone, but she adamantly refused. I threatened to cause a scene in front of her family if she didn't let me go through it. She rolled her eyes and slapped it down into my palm and said there was nothing to see and I'm making a big deal out of nothing. Immediately, I went through her deleted messages and found the evidence. She had been messaging her co-workers, boasting about cheating on me with a colleague from work. To make matters worse, she seemed proud of being his side piece. I couldn't control myself. My entire focus narrowed down to one point. My heart was pounding and I felt queasy. I turned the phone around and showed my wife, the mother of my children, her own words. I thought maybe she would show remorse or some sort of emotion, but there was nothing. She didn't care at all. Her response was cold and devoid of all emotion. She said to me, "You can divorce me if you want or just fuck off." I questioned her, asking who this guy was and a million other things, but she refused to give any explanations or share any information with me. It all got too much for me and I felt the urge to get the hell out of there. Before leaving the house, I made sure to let Jordan's mother know that her daughter was an unfaithful and terrible person. Seeking comfort and understanding, I spent the rest of the day at my mom's place. The weight of betrayal felt like a grand piano sitting on my chest, suffocating me with the worst emotions I had ever felt. Despite needing to be with my sons, the thought of being in the same space as Jordan was overwhelming and impossible for me to figure out how to handle. Late that afternoon, I returned home. Jordan's mother and brother were still there. They seemed to be oblivious to the tension in the air. They were laughing and having a good time, paying no attention to me. I spent some time with my children before retreating to bed. At least Jordan had the courtesy not to join me in bed. Skipping ahead to now, life is still a nightmare. Jordan continues to act out of spite and malice towards me. Every chance she gets, she tries to provoke me, even going as far as to tell my kids that I want to leave our home and be apart from them. Of course, I have reassured them that this is not the case. I am struggling to gather enough funds for a retainer fee for a lawyer, but my wife has already secured one through her aunt. She taunts me every day for not being able to afford my own legal representation. The truth is, my wife racked up $20,000 in credit card debt, and I have no wealthy relatives to turn to for financial help. Even if I did, I would never ask them for money to fix the mess of our failed marriage. On top of everything else, she mentioned that her aunt was interested in buying our house and renting it to her. I want to put up a fight, but I don't want my children to go through any more change than necessary. However, I am worried because my income is higher and I will likely have to pay a significant amount in child support. I can't imagine how I'll be able to afford a suitable place nearby for equal custody. Despite all of this, I'm still juggling work, taking care of my kids, and managing household chores. It's been challenging trying to minimize the impact on my boys, and it has taken a toll on me. I haven't felt any sense of peace or happiness in quite some time, and it's starting to wear me down. Jordan changed her tune last night and finally apologized. However, her apology focused solely on how her actions would personally impact her, rather than the damage it has caused to our family. Her lawyer told her she'd be responsible for half the marital debt, and now she will have to work more and figure out how to pay all the bills. Then, surprisingly, she tried to initiate sex with me. I was disgusted and demanded she leave me alone. Despite my negative emotions, it was difficult to reject her advances. I couldn't deny that a part of me missed her, or at least the person I thought she was. I longed for the idea of growing old with someone who would truly love and respect me. I asked if she had ever used protection while being unfaithful to me. She responded with a simple no, yet another stab to my already punctured heart. I then asked if she ever considered the possibility of passing on an STD to me, or if she even cared about my well-being. Without saying a word, she turned and left. I am a complete wreck. I understand that our relationship is beyond repair and staying with her would only bring more pain. However, the agony I feel is not subsiding. I can't eat. I can't sleep. I've lost almost 20 pounds, and every moment is consumed by a combination of overwhelming anxiety and profound sadness. I don't know why I'm sharing all of this, but it feels better than keeping it to myself. Maybe wish me luck because I guess I'll definitely need it. Thanks for listening.